Okay, now how do you know that?
Because she's your lobster.
Oh, she's going somewhere.
Come on, you guys. It's a known fact that lobsters fall in love and mate for life. And you know what? You can actually see old lobster couples walking around their tank, you know, holding claws. Like, you have to picture lobsters.
So we went to the Shed Aquarium, and first, the arthropod that we saw was the spider crab. The spider crabs are actually very interesting animals, but just a snippet of the arthropod, we wanted to show you that they have an exoskeleton, and that shares the same type of environment with our American lobster, which is what we will be covering next.
Lobsters are classified in the kingdom Animalia, the phylum Arthropoda, class Crustacea, order Decapoda, family Neophrodites, and genus Homaris, and species Americanus. They are of salty blood. They have salty blood and tissue, so fresh water is lethal to them. They require seawater environment, and if they want life to be maintained. Small lobsters hide and live in seaweeds and a rocky habitat so that they have adequate food and shelter and can hide from predators. Bigger lobsters live in the coastal habitats and offshore areas and also deeper waters, and they return seasonally to shallow, warmer waters. Their main adaptations are big claws for fighting because they fight each other, and for gripping and crushing prey. They have antennae that let the lobster feel its way around and detect food using its sense of smell, which is what the antenna is. Gills for breathing and living in burrows. The lobsters can dig burrows with their mouths and claws. Burrows provide lobsters with protection from predation. Their internal exchange, we will be discussing their circulatory system. They don't have a regular circulatory system like humans do. Instead, they have a single-chambered sac that consists of muscles and several openings called ostia. Their heart lies above the stomach on the upper surface of the animal, and it's known as an open system, whereas our system is known as a closed system. The heart of an adult lobster beats 50 to 136 beats per minute.
At the shed, the lobsters reside in around 8 feet wide tanks. They have close to similar environments that they would normally be comfortable in. There's a lot of rocks there. There's algae that grows on the rocks that they also feed on, but they normally get fed fish and krill and such that we'll cover on later.
Pete, I got the teacher to give you an extension. Now all you have to do is come up with a new science project.
Great, because I already got one. Check this out.
Ew, B, that's disgusting. Ganook with the moldy fruit already.
No, that's your mother's back.
Ma, don't you think you should give up on the lobster already?
Maybe they are a little suspicious. I'll start on the 10 pounds of shrimp Uncle Stanley caught.
Well, do they look normal?
What they? It's one shrimp.
While it's important to be careful while eating lobster, their diet is quite fascinating. Adult lobsters are omnivorous. Their bulk of their natural diet consists of bottom-dwelling invertebrates. You know, that means mainly crabs, mussels, periwinkles, sea urchins, and sea stars. They can also include fishes and seaweed as well. Carter and Steele and Weiss found that the decapod crustaceans and the gastropods were the most common constituents of that diet. Other food items in order of importance include fishes, plants, hydroids, ascidians, echinoderms. The relative contribution of the assorted prey varies considerably, from one location or inhabitant to another. The stomach's lobster contents reflect the relative abundances of prey species in the habitat rather than the changes in food preferences of the lobster itself. So whatever is available they eat, and they eat as much as they can at a given time. Metabolic response of lobsters to salinity may affect their distribution movements and migratory patterns. Salinity combined with other environmental factors may determine the dynamics of the estuarine lobster population. Here we can see the lobster moving its legs, its hind legs, and you can see it's constantly in movement, so it uses up a lot of energy throughout their day. When we start talking about thermoregulation in lobsters, we'll find that juvenile and adult lobsters, they tend to be osmoconformists, which generally means that like a marine invertebrate that maintains its internal and environment and is always equal to its surrounding seawater. Salinities below 15 ppt are metabolically stressful and energetically costly to lobsters, and salinities below 10 ppt may result in mortality. So they have a range in salinities, temperatures, and metals. They can't take a lot of minerals for that sense. They have a range of minerals. There's been a study, and it's been proven that thermoregulation is different between males and females. Females deal with the fluctuating salinity by moving to optimal habitats and avoiding the suboptimal zones. They try to get to some place where their body can function the best. Female lobsters and their eggs and or larvae may be physiologically limited from moving up too far up an estuary, which is like their environment they reside in, because of adverse effects of reduced salinity. Males seem to be better able to tolerate estuarine salinities. Their oxygen consumption at low salinities, 10 ppt, was lower in males, although both sexes were able to hyperosmoconform at 10 ppt for up to 3 days. Lobsters rely on ventilatory pulsing as well as increased oxygen consumption, heart rate, and scaphogafite rate to adapt to decreasing salinity. The conduction pathway is used in a lobster towards their nervous system, where there's the connection of action potentials following a high-frequency stimulation, which were studied in the axons of the lobsters. This increased the extracellular potassium concentration and produced a block of conduction onto both daughter branches. Lobsters also use convection when they're smelling or sniffing around for food. Their senses use convection. So conduction and convection are used by lobsters respectively.
Okay, you know what? Are you being like the blind date guy again?
No, you're my lobster. See, lobsters, in the tank when they're old, they walk around holding the claws. In the tank, with the holding. And Phoebes, you want to help me out with the whole lobster thing?
Do the claws again.